everybody, it's Anna. Time for the final card in this week's tarot story. So we're closing this week with yet another swords card, our third swords card for the week. This is the 10 of swords reversed. So the 10 is the final step in the trajectory, which is interesting because Tuesday, our first card of the week was the ace of swords, which is the first card. So we came from the ace to the 10. So we turn the card upright, we can see the 10 is the finishing point of the mind trajectory, right? It's a guy laying flat on his face with swords in his back. It is a release card. It looks like literal death, right? But it's not literal death. It's the release of the old system. And in the background, you can see there's a sunrise. So like we're leaving behind this old way of doing things. We're stepping into the new. There's the sunrise. And basically the mind has now completed its work of sort of navigating into a new place. It's now ready to release the old thing so that it's free to move forward in our spiritual journey, kind of guided by intuition and supported by the soul. So this is like the successful completion of the trajectory. This came to us reversed. And that suggests to me one of the challenges that comes with the mind, as we talked about all week, is the mind jumping ahead of itself. Like the mind will anticipate what it should be doing, what might go wrong, questions that it's not time to worry about, right? So the ace of swords, the ace card is the seed. It goes in the ground and you just wait. So a good portion of the spiritual journey is learning how to wait and to allow things to integrate. That's definitely true. After the one card, there's the two card, and the two card is about germination. So while we're not moving, it gives the mind plenty of opportunity to worry about what's going to happen next. And this is actually something that happens quite a bit, is the mind will jump so far ahead. We don't even know what the seed's going to produce yet, right? That's the point of the seed. It actually is a mystery seed. You get a spark of imagination or a spark of intuition. You don't really know where it's leading. You just have to decide you're going to make room for the possibility, right? That's all we're doing in the first step. But the mind, because it doesn't really like change, it's not really comfortable with the unknown, the mind will anticipate what might go wrong, or it'll anticipate what it's going to lose. And I think that's what's happening here. The mind's saying, oh, well, if I agree to this new thing happening, I'm going to lose something important. The mind will go straight to, I'm going to lose relationships. I'm going to lose my job. I'm going to be homeless. The mind will go to some kind of large scale catastrophe that it thinks is going to happen if we agree to the new step, because really it's the unknown. So this is the mind locking down. I don't want to lose. I don't want to agree to this death, which is fair because the mind is scared of death, right? But that's what the spiritual journey is. It's a series of deaths and rebirths. So the mind doesn't really like that. So the mind's not imagining, it's not paying attention to the sunrise. It's paying attention to the death, and it's blocking it. I don't want to do that. So many times people come to me, they're in the middle of transition, they're in the middle of transformation, and they start imagining all the bad things that are going to happen, right? And if they can imagine enough of those bad things, if the mind can kind of pile that gravity on us, it can stop us on the path, which is the goal. So usually when this comes up, I try to, for one thing, we don't know what's going to happen yet. That's the point of the spiritual journey. You do not know what's going to happen. You do not know for a guaranteed fact you're going to lose your job or lose your home or lose your relationships. That's really, very rarely does that actually to be fair, that's the catastrophe the mind is projecting. So part of it is there's no way to know what's going to happen. The mind's going to the worst possible case scenario. The second thing to do is actually to have the conversation with your mind. Like, what are the chances I'm going to lose all my relationships if I change my mindset a bit, or if I expand in this way, if I change the way I communicate? What are the chances that's really going to happen? You want to help the mind become more reasonable. We want the mind to be more reasonable, not to catastrophize. We also want it to be more present. Right now, it's just a seed. We have no way of knowing yet what it's going to lead to. What we can do, so we want to get the mind to be rational and present, and then we want to remind it of that second card we had this week, the Wednesday card, the Sun card, which tells us there is a genius guiding everything. This genius within ourselves, the soul that's guiding us, the intuition, which is that wild child, mad, raw intuition genius, intuitive genius, is never leading us in a place that's going to harm us. It will lead us into discomfort. It will lead us into growth. It will lead us into expansion. But it's never going to take away from us something that we need. That's just not how it works. Our genius is about expansion and abundance. That's all we're here to do for ourselves and on behalf of others, and support others in that. So even when things look like there's some kind of disaster happening, which probably isn't going to happen, by the way, it's not going to happen. But even if a disaster does happen, it's not a real disaster. It's like when the tower shows up in the tarot, things fall apart. They fall apart so we can move forward. And that's this card, right? There's that sunrise. There's that sea in the sunrise, which represents the journey forward into something new. So I think this week is really interesting because there's a lot of challenges the mind is facing. A new thing is starting. It's kind of jumping ahead and what that might mean. It's worrying about what it's going to cost us. Try to keep the mind with you. Try to listen to when the mind is struggling. Talk it down. Get it to use real data, not its worst case scenario, right? Not its worst case scenario, but what is likely to happen. The physical plane is a lot less dramatic than the mind would have you believe. So that's our final card this week. I hope that you were able to hold on to the Sun card, which is our Wednesday card, as your theme, and it anchors you as you move forward in this transformation of the mind. See you next time. Bye.